So for question 4, we are supposed to remove the door in the archway as shown on the question paper. First, you use the selection tool, the quick selection tool. You select the area the gate covers. So that is what I'm doing now. Okay, you can zoom in. The mountain is not part, so I'm going to select the subtract selection and take off the mountain. Portion of the archway. Okay, so now that we are sure that we've selected the gate, we can go for our clone stamp tool and delete it. And start removing the gate. So I'm going to begin from the floor, and to do that you hold down Alt on an area that looks similar to what is behind the gate. Hold down Alt, click the area, and then come in here and draw over the portion. Now the essence of selecting the gate first is so that when I move the brush inadvertently or by mistake over an area that is not supposed to be replaced, you realize that nothing happens here. So that's the essence of selecting the gate before going ahead with using the tool. So I'm going to press Ctrl Z so I will start all over. This time around I'm going to increase the hardness of the brush. The size 32px, which is okay. And I'm going to start again. Okay. And just select this area. And then replicate it exactly on this side. I'm going to select the pool area. Let me zoom in. Sorry. So now I'm reconstructing the edge of the pool. I'm going to pick the edge of the hill and reconstruct the bottom of the hill. Now let's fix this area too. Oh, sorry. There's a piece of gate down here. We're going to fix that later. Let's concentrate on fixing the pool. Yeah, I think that is okay. Now let's look at the sky. And increase the hardness of it. Okay. There's a hill behind there and we are trying to avoid drawing into it. Let me take this portion off. Let me reduce the size of the brush. And then come down here. And I think we're almost done. Now for the hill what we can do is we can take it off. It has one color, so we can just draw a shape and take it off. So I'm going to press Ctrl D. You see we still have some areas to heal, so I'll use a spot healing brush for that. Let me reduce the size. And just draw over the areas that now let's take the hill off. Let's pick our pen tool selecting the area. The area of the gate that is left. Right click, make a selection. Now we're going to use the fill tool, and I'm going to click on the foreground, set the foreground, and I'm going to use the color picker to select the color of the hill. Use this portion. It's not completely black, because if you look at the hex, it has a code of 080D13. It's a shade of black though, so I'll click OK. So now our foreground color is that shade of black. So now you can press Shift and backspace, change the contents here to foreground, or make sure it's on foreground, and click OK. It gives us an idea of what we have. Well, to me it doesn't look so good, so I'm going to press Ctrl Z. And continue with the clone stamp tool instead. So I'm going to reduce the hardness, increase the size a little bit, hold down Alt, since that is the only area we want replaced. Let's keep drawing. Nope, I think my brush size is too huge. Let me reduce it a bit, and then make sure I fill the hill. If you realize that I'm clicking the Alt repeatedly to pick areas that I've already constructed, and I think this color looks more natural. So when we are done, you can press Ctrl D, and I think there are still some areas we need to fix. And press Ctrl Z to bring back our selection. Okay. Press Ctrl D, take the selection off. Now let's let's work on the areas that need to be fixed. So the spot healing brush, just brush over the hill to take off the white patches. We reduce the size, increase the hardness, and then deal with this corner. And then let me increase and then increase the hardness a little bit further and deal with this. Continue the edges of the chair. We are almost done. There's a portion between the arc and the hill that needs to be fixed. Let's run the spot healing brush over it. Yeah, almost done. Right, so now that we are done with our gate remover, let's save our work. We're going to save it as a JPEG. And it's going to be sunset editor underscore your candidate and center number. And the next thing we are supposed to do is we are supposed to fit the sunset edited image to your p-frame image as shown, and we're going to save that one as sunset framed, followed by a center number underscore candidate number. So we're going to create another image called sunset framed. So let's go ahead with that. Back to Photoshop, and I think I already have my p-frame opened here from part 1. So we're going to fit the image in here. So to do that, first let's turn the frame upright. To do that, we can press Ctrl T, T for transform, and when you see these arced arrows, it means you can turn your frame upright. I think this is okay. Now I see portions of the frame is not showing, so we can resize our canvas by pressing Alt Ctrl C. Alt Ctrl and C for canvas. And we can resize it by increasing the height So let's say 4 and click OK. So you have everything showing now. I think the 4 is too much, so let me Ctrl Alt C, just make it 3. I think 3 is better. And now we are going to just go to where your image that you just edited is, click, drag it into this tab and drop. Now come down to your layers panel and interchange the positions so that the frame comes forward. Now make sure the image is selected, the one you just dropped in there. Press Ctrl- repeatedly, at least twice. Now press Ctrl T for transform, and in any of the diagonal corners try to reduce the size so that every portion, if not every portion, at least the important parts of the image are showing in the frame. Don't try to use the horizontal or vertical corners, use the diagonal corners. If you try to use the vertical or horizontal corners, you end up, depending on the type of Photoshop you end up squeezing your image. Unfortunately, if you are using the new version, I think that's 2020 and above, you can resize using any of the corners without losing the quality. So I think we are okay, and then click the correct sign. Now we have all these transparent pixels by the sides which we want to get rid of. So to do that, you just go to Image, Trim, select Trim, and select Transparent Pixels. Click OK. Press Ctrl 0. I think we are good to go. You can now select both layers, group them, make a duplicate by pressing Ctrl J. The reason why we are doing this is I want to get rid of the extra edge here. So with the one we've duplicated, I'm going to press Ctrl E to merge it. I'm going to hide the one beneath and press Ctrl T again and try to increase the size so that the edges disappear. Click OK. So I think we are good to go, and we are going to save this as Sunset Framed. So I've copied that name, File, Save, select your JPEG, paste, and save. So we are done with question 4. Let's move to question 5.